Hello everyone, Kate Crane here, and today I'm going to be using DuraLar Wet Media Film. Now, as it says here, it's treated on both sides so it can accept water-based mediums in a way that you wouldn't expect. So this kind of almost acetate-like surface can take things like watercolours without beading up. And I'm going to make some overlays which are an incredibly useful way of trying out colours and overlaying in your journals and your mixed media projects. Here's a few that I did earlier using different things. So I've used some ink sprays, watercolours, fountain pen inks, alcohol inks. You can really have a go with anything. I'm going to start with regular watercolours. And I've been quite liberal with the water here, so it's going to allow those colours to mix and mingle, maybe drip a little bit if I turn it up and allow that to kind of drip down. Oh, a few splats never goes amiss, and you can tip things and allow them to drip and run. This time I'm going to use some fountain pen inks. These are Diamine inks. These came in a little advent calendar. You might have full-size bottles. Generally, unless stated otherwise, fountain pen inks are water soluble. And sometimes we forget, we think they're just for writing and putting in your pens, but they're great for painting and adding colour. Now, this one I'm going to leave a little bit more white space, so that just gives me some options when I'm looking through my overlays, whether I want something densely coloured or something with a bit of white space. And with this one I've just gathered a couple of just old plastic lids. Now for a slightly different look, I've got a Kraft mat. I'm sticking with my Diamine inks, so same colours. And this time I'm putting the inks to the Kraft mat. And that gives me a very different look. Now I can let that dry and then repeat the process and pick up the extra ink there. So there we have, same inks, different method of application for a completely different look. Water-based ink sprays are also a really good and fast way of adding some colour, and they sit really well on top of this. I'm just going to put a bit of extra paper down, these can get messy. And now for some alcohol inks. Now you would expect alcohol inks to sit well on this surface because alcohol inks work really well on most surfaces. So I've picked out a few colours here and I've just got some scraps of felt. If you don't have blending tools, you can literally just use scraps of felt. Just kind of working around that circle. Just spreading that ink out a little bit. It's fairly fast drying, so you need to move in fairly quick. And now this is where the fun starts. It's really interesting to see how these overlays can change some really kind of plain backgrounds. These are some old gel prints, quite often just mop-up prints. They're not very interesting. There's not much colour on there. I've also got here a sheet of ledger paper with just some mark making on. And look what happens when you start to layer things over the top. I'm going to stick with this colour combination to put my little project together. I've got some torn off scraps of the mark making on ledger paper. I've got a stamped image coloured and ready, and another stamp. Now once you're using overlays, of course you can have things under or over, and it's interesting to see the difference. So the giraffe could go under, and I could have some ledger paper over, or we could do it the other way around. So making overlays with the DuraLar wet media, such a simple way to bring a pop of colour to your backgrounds. You can mix and match, swap them around, sandwich things in between, put them on top and just have a good old play around. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy playing along.